Sony just did the one thing nobody thought they would ever do. They made a brand new God of War, and they took Kratos out of it. Not a side game, not a quick spin-off. And the moment they revealed it, the internet split clean down the middle. Half the comments were pure rage. The other half were defending it to the death. There was a girl boss controversy, there was lore drama, there was even a pizza company throwing punches. And here's the twist that nobody saw coming. Despite all the chaos, this might have been the single most talked about reveal of the entire summer. This is God of War Laufey, and we need to break it all down. Let's start with what was actually announced. At Sony's State of Play, Santa Monica Studio pulled back the curtain on God of War Laufey. And the big swing is the main character. You are not playing as Kratos. You are playing as Laufey the Just. If that name doesn't ring a bell, you might know her better as Faye. Yes, that Faye. Kratos' wife. The one who was already dead when the 2018 game even started. The warrior giantess whose final wish kicked off that entire journey. She is being played by Deborah Ann Woll, and the setup is wild. Faye wakes up in a place called the Everywhen, the afterlife of the gods, where, in her words, death is just the start of the adventure. She's not alone either. She's got a sarcastic floating cosmic cube named Franck, voiced by Jack Quaid, and a ribbon guardian called Rue. Sony rolled out a full 20 minutes of gameplay, and the combat looks exactly like the God of War you know. Fast, brutal, heavy melee, divine monsters, gorgeous mythic worlds. But here is the detail that turned a normal reveal into an absolute firestorm. Everybody assumed this was a spin-off. A little side story while we wait for the next big one? It is not. Sony confirmed that God of War Laufey is a mainline God of War game, the next real chapter. And that one word, mainline, changed everything. Because it means that for the first time in the entire history of this franchise, Kratos is not the playable lead of a main God of War game. That is the line that lit the fuse. And once that sank in, the comment sections went to war. So let's talk about that war, fairly, both sides, because this got heated. On one side, you have the angry camp. Their argument goes like this. Kratos is God of War. He has carried this series for almost 20 years. Replacing him as the lead in a mainline entry feels like the studio sidelining the icon people actually showed up for. Some took it further and called the whole thing a cynical girlboss pivot, accusing Sony of chasing a trend instead of telling Kratos' story. And then there's the lore complaint. Faye supposedly found peace at the end of the 2018 game. So seeing her struggling in some afterlife realm feels, to those fans, like it quietly undoes one of the most beautiful endings in the series. But the other side came in just as hard. The defenders point out a few things. First, Santa Monica is one of the most respected studios on the planet. They do not spend years and tens of millions of dollars on a game they don't believe in. If they're this confident in a Faye-led story, maybe it's worth trusting them. Second, that whole not the God of War complaint kind of falls apart when you remember that God of War 2007 and God of War 2, some of the most beloved games in the series, didn't exactly hinge on the literal title either. And third, a lot of the loudest outrage wasn't really about story or lore at all. It was just people mad that the hero is a woman. And those two things, real creative critique and plain old anger about a female lead, got completely tangled together in the discourse. Now, what about the actual game? Because a reveal lives or dies on the footage. And honestly, it looks like God of War. The combat first look shows that same weighty, crunchy melee the series is famous for, but rebuilt around Faye's own style. Massive divine enemies. The cosmic cube companion opening up puzzle and traversal ideas. And the Everyone as a setting gives the team a blank check to go anywhere, any mythology, any afterlife, without being chained to the Norse map we've already explored twice. The game's director, Ariel Lawrence, addressed the skeptics directly. The quote was simple and pretty disarming. "I understand the skepticism, but please give it a chance and be excited to play, not defensive. Just watch what we made before you bury it." And then, because the internet is the internet, things got genuinely ridiculous. At one point, Domino's Pizza, yes, the pizza company, jumped into the discourse with a snarky little rage bait tweet poking at the whole Kratos replacement thing, and the developers actually clapped back. A pizza brand and a Sony studio. Trading shots over God of War, that's where we are now. Santa Monica also put out a calmer statement to settle the panic, saying, and I'm paraphrasing, Kratos is the God of War, we still have many more stories to tell with him, we're just also excited to take you into the afterlife of the gods with Faye. In other words, calm down, he's not gone forever. So here's the part that should make every studio executive's head spin. With all of this, the rage, the defending, the pizza beef, the think pieces, the analytics came back, and God of War Laufey didn't just survive Summer Game Fest. It dominated it. By a clear margin, it was the most talked about reveal of the entire show. Love it or hate it, you were talking about it. And in a summer absolutely stuffed with massive announcements, being the thing nobody could shut up about is its own kind of victory. Controversy, it turns out, is one heck of a marketing budget. So where does that leave us? We've got a mainline God of War with no Kratos at the wheel, a fan base ripped down the middle, a studio with a flawless track record asking for the benefit of the doubt, and gameplay that, whether you like the direction or not, clearly looks the part. The only question that actually matters won't be answered until we play it. Can a God of War without Kratos still feel like God of War? We don't have a release date yet, so we've got time to argue about it. So I want to know where you land. Are you giving Faye a real shot? Or is a mainline God of War without Kratos just not God of War to you? Drop it in the comments, keep it civil, and if you want the full story on every big reveal before the dust even settles, subscribe to Game Signal. We'll see you in the next one.